Zdarsky has had a most illustrious career, working up from the mastermind artist of sex criminals for Image, and then writing various Marvel properties. His comedic style would seem at odds with The Dark Knight, but as I will demonstrate, he has a mastery of Batman's recent history and maps out his own amalgamation of Batman's best and worst traits within the same five-part story. The first page appears in flashback as Alfred is cleaning up the Batcave. Humorously, he's cleaning up used energy drink cans, showing how the Batman keeps awake so late at night. Let me know in the comments which energy drink you think Batman prefers. Alfred is interrupted by an ominous beeping, which comes from a secret part of the cave, but he promptly turns it off. One great way that Zdarsky brings the reader into Batman's head is by including his thoughts in caption boxes. This was an idea rejected by the previous eras of Batman, but since Scott Snyder's run in the 2010s, it has really proven to help humanize and explain Batman to a modern audience. Bruce Wayne dreams about the three Jokers from his recent limited series killing his entire family, and Zdarsky reveals that Batman has such a mastery over his subconscious that he only dreams when he chooses to, usually in order to help him solve a mystery. And now it's time for a bad anachronism. In an overlooked detail, Bruce calls Selina Kyle on his cell phone upon waking, which I find amusing because I cannot recall Batman ever using a touchscreen cell phone in comics before. It makes you wonder what cell phone service he uses, and how he keeps a cell phone close while crime fighting. Props to Batman, though, for keeping Catwoman on speed dial. Keeping in current continuity with the Tinian 4 run, Batman is broke, causing him to limit his Bruce Wayne persona and focus almost solely on Batman. This always leads to disaster. See Bruce Wayne Fugitive for context. The Batman is a cynic, since according to him, the hardest part of the job is caring for a city that wants to die. This Batman has lost his optimism and is working himself to death in a Sisyphusian task. He knows his enemies so well that he is able to dismantle Penguin's latest plot to kill all the billionaires at a gala before it even begins. In an excellent physical demonstration of Batman's dominance over Bruce Wayne, when he appears to take the Penguin down, he does so in a dress shirt and cowl. But he is now more Batman than Bruce Wayne, symbolized by that cowl. When apprehended, the Penguin kills himself to frame Batman for his death. The ominous beeping from the first page of the story commences at the Batcave. Remember that Alfred was killed off in the Tom King run, so knowing to shut off the beeping, a humanoid robot ascends from a secret part of the cave and comes online. In Part 2, the robot, identifying itself as Failsafe, wastes no time in beating both Batman and the Bat family to a pulp. Batman only vaguely knows about Failsafe and assumes that he's hidden information about the robot away in another part of his mind. Here's where the thought boxes really come in handy, since the art is shrouded by shadows and you can't see what's happening on the page. As his thoughts change, his thought box changes from the familiar gray to purple, right before the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh makes his appearance. Now time for a Bat history lesson. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh appeared in the Silver Age in Batman number 113 in February 1958. He was an alien named Tlano who became the Batman of his own planet after bringing Batman to his own planet to battle robots. The story ends ambiguously, as Batman isn't sure if his adventure on planet Zur-En-Arrh was real or a dream. Grant Morrison took over writing Batman in the 2000s and brought back a lot of Silver Age continuity with a Morrison twist. He used the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh as a backup personality that Bruce created in case his mind was compromised. In the event of a strong psychic attack, this violent and unhinged personality would take over, signified by the Bat costume of red, yellow, and purple, just like the one Tlano wore in the 50s. This was a groundbreaking moment for Batman because he had never prepared this way before for an attack on his psyche, and it demonstrated another way that he was prepared for anything. Bringing back the Silver Age Batman character and repurposing him for a new story was a masterstroke by Grant Morrison, but he hasn't been seriously utilized again until Zdarsky dusted him off 16 years later for this story. Not only does Zdarsky show Batman creating his personality in flashback, but he ties it back to the Tower of Babel storyline in JLA Comics, where Batman's contingency to shut down each of the Justice League characters falls into the wrong hands, and Batman is ultimately kicked out of the Justice League. In Zdarsky's flashback, Superman asks Batman directly after his expulsion if he has a contingency plan for himself. which starts him on the journey of creating a backup to take him out if he ever crosses the line and kills someone. As the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, Bruce dresses and speaks differently, but also appears to possess a mind much younger than that of the current Batman. As such, he doesn't consider his companions as his family, but only as soldiers in his never-ending war. Bruce surmised that this personality would also know a way to stop his contingency. Robin Riley states, "Of course Batman creates a contingency backup who created a contingency plan. Unfortunately, even this Batman anticipated this and erased failsafe weaknesses from Bruce's mind." Zdarsky adds to the mythology of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh by showing that Bruce can speak to himself from within each of his personalities and move between them at will. While Morrison treated his personality as a total system backup in the case of a meltdown, Zdarsky treats it as more of a malleable state that Bruce can switch in and out of as necessary. It's time for another bad anachronism. In this issue, Batman created lightsabers. He and Robin used these with no effect against Failsafe. Now time for another bad anachronism. Batman is beaten and about to be killed by Failsafe, and he thinks to himself, "This is a good death, isn't it?" in reference to both Tom King's recent run and The Dark Knight Returns. This is the issue where Batman's friends try to help him out. To show how futile this is, Zdarsky has Failsafe dispatch Superman with kryptonite spears almost instantly. In a nutshell, Failsafe dispatches the Justice League with traps to set up around Gotham City to counteract the unique abilities. This is a speed run through the Tower of Babel, using one machine to do the work of many. 2 weeks later, Bruce is healed in Atlantis, and Failsafe has taken over Gotham, enslaving Oracle and policing the city with automatons of his own design. Here he exposes a perhaps fatal flaw, guessing that Batman is the younger man who created him, and not the grizzled family man of now. Shenanigans ensue, and Failsafe fights Batman in the JLA watchtower, eventually ejecting him towards Earth without a means of escape. Here's where my suspension of disbelief broke down, even for a Batman story, because he uses a hunk of metal from a broken escape pod to ride the G-forces down to Earth from the moon. Somehow, not only does Batman navigate open space, Earth's gravitational pull, and the G-forces that would destroy a man, but he lands outside of Superman's Fortress of Solitude mostly unharmed. Batman realizes that he has no physical way of destroying Failsafe. His only chance to win is to introduce compassion into Failsafe's programming, the same compassion that he's learned over the years. In this issue, Jorge Jimenez draws Batman's eyes in the cowl instead of opting for the traditional blank white stare, which his eyes should usually have. This humanizes him in a way that makes the finale of the comic seem all the more poignant. Batman is successful in introducing compassion into Failsafe's programming, but it is not enough to stop his rampage. In the final moments of the comics, Batman looks at Robin and tells him that it's going to be okay. Then Failsafe obliterates him with a laser, and Batman is dead. Failsafe is satisfied that he has accomplished his mission, and he shuts down. There are 2 backup stories in this volume that explain Batman's process in creating Failsafe, and Catwoman tracking down the very much alive Penguin in Metropolis, who is hiding under an assumed name and face. This was an exhilarating tale that I find extremely successful, if slightly all over the place, because it's able to both respect Batman's traditions while finding new ways to build upon his complex mythology. Failsafe is essentially Batman without human weakness or compassion. He is invulnerable, calculating, and able to dispatch anyone with enough planning. He is constantly depicted as a creature of Batman's youthful hubris and a symbol of how highly Batman saw himself. A flawless robot that can not only outthink anyone on Earth, but also dispatch anything that gets in his way. This robot accomplishes his goal and leads us to wonder, Zdarsky has killed Batman in 5 issues. What could possibly happen next? Thank you for tuning into The Literary Batman. Please leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you liked what you saw, consider subscribing to the channel. I am Batman, you are Batman, we are Batman.